Welcome to a new episode of How I Run My Businesses. Now, before I start this video, thank you to everybody who's voted on my Instagram poll and said that you guys want to see behind the scene of how I am launching the Book of the Week Club and especially the funnel simulator. So, in this video, I'll show you the exact number, the exact calculation of how I am going to launch my business and how do I plan to make it profitable. But before I start the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Alright, so get ready. I will take you behind the scene, and you know what? Make sure to take notes because this is going to be really helpful. And I highly suggest that anytime you plan to launch a business, you make sure you run through the numbers first, because I see a lot of people just paying no attention to numbers. They just launch a business, just like shooting in the dark, and that's why they fail and fail miserably, and sadly they lose a lot of money. And this happens especially with dropshippers. So if you're planning to start a dropshipping business or any business in general, make sure to run the numbers first, have at least a baseline of how your numbers are going to look like based on the conversion at each step, and most importantly have a funnel, right? It's really important that you have a funnel in place so that you could at least preempt what kind of results you could generate. All right, so without further ado, let's dive deep and let me take you straight to the simulator.
All right, so now welcome to the simulator. So let me show you how I am calculating the numbers for different scenarios before the launch so that I know I end up making profits, right? So here is a basic funnel that I have designed. Let's assume I have one traffic source at this point, which is Facebook. So from Facebook or Instagram, I send traffic to the lead form. This would be the Facebook lead form, and from here I send people to an email automation, right? And from the automation, I send people to the sales page or the landing page for the Book of the Week Club, and from there they go on to the checkout page, right? They fill out the form, and yep, they make the payment and they become members, right? I have kept it as a really simplified model. Of course, this is the entire email marketing sequence, the entire email group, right, which has multiple emails, and then there's also SMS marketing, and then there's also retargeting that's going to happen. But I haven't drawn those here, but I have factored in the expenses for retargeting and SMS marketing. So let me just show you the numbers for the first scenario. This is scenario number one, right? So if you see here for Facebook ad, I have the following scenario set up. So let's assume that I have about 1,000 monthly visitors from Facebook ads, right? So my acquisition type is clicks, and I am assuming the cost per click to be 20. I'm being a little on a higher side, but I want to calculate for the worst case scenario as well and see the numbers, right? I save it. From there to the opt-in page. So for the opt-in page, this is the scenario that I have about 70% opt-in rate into the lead form, and 70 is very doable. I have seen better numbers than 70. I've seen 85, 87. So 70 is still conservative. So of all the people who click, 70% of them go on to fill out the form. From here to the email click rate, I am assuming that from all the people, right? Let's say if 100 people fill out the form and all of them get into the email sequence, 25 actually open the email and they go on to click and click the link and go to the landing page or the sales page. So from here, I am assuming that about 50% of them would add the product into the cart, and from here about 75% of them would eventually complete the checkout process, right? So this is scenario number one, and here the price point for the product is kept at 499 rupees, right? So these are the assumptions that I've made. And as far as expenses are concerned, right? So I'll show you what expenses I have factored in. So web hosting and domain name, creating the membership site. So that's about 25,000 for the software that I'm using. Next is the payroll, web developer, which is monthly. And then there's email automation, which is about 2,500 per month, and SMS marketing, which is another 2,500 per month, right? So that's, and I would probably factor in another 10% of advertising budget, which is 1,500 rupees into retargeting, right? So once I'm done with adding all these factors, let me quickly click on the simulate button so that you guys could see. All right, let me just set this up properly so that you guys don't miss on the simulation part. All right, let's click on the simulate. So now if you see, after running the numbers, these are the results, right? My cost per lead would be about 28 rupees. Cost per acquisition would be 229 rupees, and my revenue per month would be 32,000 rupees. But given all the expenses, I would end up losing money. I would lose about 2,171. So this scenario is not profitable. So I have to, you know, do something. I have to change something. So let's go to scenario number two. Now I already have data pre-filled for scenario number two. So here I played around with the cost per click. I made it 15 bucks. That's one change. In the last scenario, I had it to 20 bucks, right? So the next change that I have here is the price point. So if you check, the price point is now 1499 instead of 499. So that's three times the price point. It's still a really good price point for the value in the product. The product is crazy. And if you are not a member, you should absolutely join the Book of the Week club. I mean, you get to learn so many strategies from great authors. Well, and the expenses remain the same. So those are the two changes. The cost per click is reduced by 5 rupees and the product price has been increased by 3 rupees. Sorry, by three times. So let's simulate the scenario and you would see the results. So with this new scenario, our cost per lead has gone down to 21 rupees, cost per acquisition to 172, and most importantly, the profit is 33,000 rupees now per month, right? Total earning of 64,000, which is great. Now, that may seem like a big jump in the price point. So I wanted to find the sweet spot, right? So I am looking at a third scenario. In this scenario, we have the same parameters. This has been the Facebook clicks has been about 10 to 15 rupees. So same as the last scenario where we made profits. But the bigger change here in this scenario is the price point, right? So this is what I have priced it at, which is 899. So this is still under 1,000 rupees. So psychologically, again, has a different impact, and everything else remains the same. Just the price point changed, and that let's simulate this. So let's see the results. Well, cost per lead, cost per acquisition remains the same. I am still making a profit of 8,800 rupees per month, which is nice, right? Given these numbers. So you see, this is how you can figure out what your profits are going to be like, what your numbers are going to be like, and you should absolutely do this before you run a drop shipping business. If you do that, right, so you can understand the kind of numbers that you could look at. Will you make money? Will you lose money? And another drawback here is I only have a front end product, right? This is a front end product. It's inexpensive. It's very low price point, right? So I have nothing on the back end. And that's why if you see the profits are really thin, right? Not a business that's really exciting. But again, my goal with this business is not to make money, but fulfill my vision of helping people think and get ideas from smart authors around the world. So if I was a smart entrepreneur, I am, but in this business, that's not my goal. But I would have added other products on the back end, maybe a coaching program, maybe upsells, maybe downsells, so that this number goes really, really high. Now, there's another cool thing that I want to show you guys, which is the project summary. And scenario comparison is one I want to show you guys. So let's check and look at different scenarios. So let this load. And the software that I am using for this is Gero. It's Gero.com. I have been using this for I think almost 3 years. I got this software right when it came out. And the guy who's built it is a great marketer, so he knows a thing or two about marketing. Although it has quite a few limitations at this point, they are working on it, and I'm sure at least for the basic forecasting and modeling, this works really well. And apart from this, my team is building a custom software using Excel, so where we could do advanced forecasting. All right, so now this is the comparison of three different scenarios. Right, so you see scenario one where I was losing money, right? Scenario number two where I was making money, and scenario number three where I was also making money. This was 899 price point. This was priced at 1499. Now you always want to test different price points. You know, a lot of times it actually works better at a higher price point, and it could also work better at 1999. You never know. I am going to test all of it out. So, based on those, these are different numbers that you could see here. Now, there's another cool thing in this software which is dream profit goal. So you can enter a number, the dream profit that you would like to make, and then it would calculate backwards. So let's say I want to make a crore rupees, right? Profit. Now, if I want to make that kind of a profit at the end of the year, how much will I have to make per day, per week, and per month, right? So if I want to make a profit of a crore, I would have to make sales of about 4 crore 39 lakhs. Yeah, that's how much profit I would have to make. So, sorry, that's how much revenue I would have to make, right? And then I would be left with a crore rupees in net profit. So, if I want to make a crore rupee in a year, my revenue per day should be about, 1,22,000, and I need to get about so many leads and then so many orders, and what's going to be my traffic cost, spend about 50K rupees a day, and so you get to see different scenarios, how much you would have to spend. And of course, all these numbers should be, I would spend so much only after the initial testing. So once I have the basic numbers in place, once I know which scenario is really working well for me, at what price point, what's my cost per lead. Once everything is optimized, then I can really bump it up and scale it up, right? And a lot of it again would also go in reinvestment. So the profits that I'm making could also be reinvested in buying traffic. So yeah, that's how all of this works. There are other really cool things in here, which is traffic reinvestment. Uh, I think I'll probably show it to you guys in another video, but I hope this gives you a fair idea of how I run my businesses and why calculating numbers are important, and why knowing your numbers are important. It can give you so much more predictability. All right, so I will.
Alright, so I hope that gave you a gist of different scenarios that I am predicting, and based on that how I plan to launch my business. Now if you saw in a couple of scenarios, it clearly showed that I would lose money even if I made sales. So I have to work on improving those conversion numbers, the cost per click, and most importantly price it really optimally, right? So that's why when I used a simulator, I played around with the price points so I could figure the right price point for the yearly membership. And looking at the numbers, I will most likely settle for 999 per year. That seems like a really sweet spot. It's less than 1,000, so psychologically has a different impact in the consumer's mind. And it seems like I could make a fairly decent amount of profit, so I could keep the business running and hopefully scale it from there, right? So this is all for this video, and you will see a lot of other cool stuff happening behind the scene and how I run my businesses in future episode. Well, talk to you guys soon. Subscribe.